They've spent months engaged in fierce verbal clashes and shown mutual disdain, but now Bernie Sanders has endorsed Hillary Clinton as the Democratic Party's presidential nominee.
Secretary Clinton has won the Democratic nominating process, and I intend to do everything I can to make certain she will be the next president of the United States.
So some U-turn there, and to discuss this a bit further, we are joined now by Caleb Maupin, our correspondent in Washington. Caleb, I suppose this is the strange world of politics, isn't it? One minute he can't stand her, and then the next minute, you know, she is the best candidate.
Well, absolutely. It is now settled that Hillary Clinton will be the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States. Now, speaking from New Hampshire, Sanders spoke very positively of Hillary Clinton, giving her his endorsements, talking about her achievements throughout her career. But that's quite different than what he said just a few weeks ago. Let's take a listen.
Secretary Clinton does represent the establishment. I represent, I hope, ordinary Americans. Secretary Clinton has chosen to raise her funds in a different way. Now, I am not quite sure how you bring about real change in America if your super PAC collects millions and millions of dollars from Wall Street.
Now, the question remains, where does this leave all of Sanders' supporters? Now, polls show that not all of Sanders' supporters share Sanders' newfound love of Hillary Clinton. Now, Trump was very quick to respond to Sanders' move on Twitter. He tweeted out that Sanders has sold out to crooked Hillary. He also tweeted out that Sanders endorsing Clinton is like Occupy Wall Street endorsing Goldman Sachs. So we're waiting to see what happens next with this new development. Sanders is out of the race and is now down to Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump for the presidency of the United States.
OK, interesting race it will be too. Thanks, Caleb. That was Caleb Maupin live there from Washington. Well, there is one olive branch for Bernie Sanders' White House hopes. The Green Party's presumptive candidate says she would stand aside to let him be their flag bearer instead. Jill Stein joins us live to talk about this. Jill, good evening to you. Very commendable what you've just done. Do you think he'll take you up on it?
I'm afraid not, and I think his endorsement of Hillary, is kind of the final nail in the coffin here. We've been offering Bernie Sanders basically to sit down and talk and to explore how we might collaborate, because I can't give away the nomination. The nomination belongs to the delegates. But I could certainly work with him for all sorts of possibilities, including leading the ticket if he truly saw the light, the green light, that we do need independent politics. And I think what's happened here, that the revolution is now being stuffed back into a counter-revolutionary party and into the campaign of the candidate who's really been leading the charge for Wall Street, for wars, and for the Walmart economy. I think it's testimony to why we really do need an independent political force in which this movement can grow.
Sure, and what about for the moment, though, Jill? I mean, it is strange, isn't it? Because when we look at Bernie Sanders, he is the antithesis of much of what Hillary Clinton stands for, yet he's endorsing her now. Do you think many of his supporters will be sort of agreeing with what he's saying, or do you think they'll just say, no, there's no way we're going to support Hillary on this occasion?
I think there were a lot of people that were watching this endorsement in complete and utter disbelief. Bernie said, let's forget the past, but I don't think people can forget this movement that they've worked so hard to build. And they also can't forget Hillary Clinton's record, which is really very much the opposite of what they've been working for the past year. So, the inconvenient truth here for the Democratic Party is that there is another option that will actually continue to build this movement that supports the agenda for economic equality and much more, that in fact supports a foreign policy based on international law and human rights, that calls for an emergency jobs program to put everyone to work, really really a New Deal, a Green New Deal, like what got us out of the Great Depression. And in creating these jobs and solving the crisis of the economy, we can also basically put an end to the crisis of the climate and make the wars for oil obsolete. So, you know, this is all about getting the word out. What so much of the media, you know, the American corporate media is ignoring. There was an article quoted just today, I think it was on NPR if I'm not mistaken, saying, why is it that the third-party candidates aren't doing better in this climate where everyone is clamoring for something else? Well, it's like the elephant in the room here is that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have together gotten billions and billions worth of free media coverage, whereas the truly independent campaigns, the non-corporate campaigns, of which I'm really the only representative, have gotten essentially $0 in free media coverage. So there is an internet, there is social media out there. The word is getting out, especially for young people, 43 million young people who are locked in student debt, predatory loans, no other way out except through my campaign. I'm the only candidate who will cancel that debt like we did for Wall Street. It's about time to do it for the victims of Wall Street. As that word gets out, 43 million people locked in debt is actually enough that could win a three-way race. So we do have the power. It's about standing up and rejecting this propaganda of the lesser evil, standing up and fighting for the greater good, like our lives depend on it, because they do.
And Jill, do you expect then to see sort of membership to your party increase and a lot of support going your way now that this has happened?
Yes, and I think it's already begun. After California, the primary where it became clear that the Democratic Party was really shutting out Bernie Sanders in a very underhanded and very reprehensible way, through, you know, stripping voter rolls, through suppressing debates, and through their superdelegates and their Super Tuesdays, very undemocratic processes. As people became aware that kind of the door was closing on their campaign, we began to see the volunteers, our Facebook page, et cetera, really skyrocketing. And we're seeing that now in the last 24 to 36 hours as well, as people realize that, you know, that kind of the game is over and it's time to make their choices. And I think there are a lot of broken hearts out there among the Bernie campaign, a lot of people who are feeling burned by the Democratic Party, who are not going to simply resign themselves to an election that offers them either a billionaire on one hand or a cheerleader for the billionaires who's earned $153 million since 2001 between she and Bill Clinton for corporations.
We're going to have to wrap it up there, but look, thanks ever so much for giving us your take on all of this. That was Jill Stein there, Green Party presidential candidate.
Thank you.